Diane Dennis with Inspired Media Communications. With me today is Jan Ingalls Smith. She is an author. She's the founder of Light Song School of the 21st Century, Shamanism and Energy Medicine. I believe she's put this whole concept on the map. She can tell us about that. She's the creator of Recreate Yourself, 7 Truths for Guaranteed Success, which is a webinar, which is amazing. And she's put her heart into this. So Jan, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate it. Yes, always fun to hang out with you and share ideas and just have a good conversation.
Well, you are a luminary in the field of energy medicine and shamanism, and I met you decades ago, and I was impressed from day one, and of course, immediately had to have shamanism sessions with you, and that still stays with me today. So I just praise you and am excited to have you here today. I want to start with, you have an extensive background.
Yeah.
Undergraduate degree. And so can you tell me a little bit about your journey of how you came from the science field, teaching field, and psychology field into energy medicine?
Sure. As you just said, I have my undergraduate degrees in biology and chemistry, and then I have graduate degrees in psychology and energy medicine. And I've also been a practicing practitioner for about 25 years. And the thing that's always amazed me is the amount of miraculous healings that I've actually got to witness, which I think is indicative to the energy medicine component of healing, because it's outside of the realm of basic science as well as basic psychology. And it actually moves into the quantum field. And so I started studying quantum physics, and that's what I want to talk to the audience about today, is the amazing components of quantum physics, because it actually takes things out of the norm or what we expect to happen and moves it into the miraculous.
And how can we, I mean, that sounds like I want some. Can I have some of that? How can we apply that or experience that or manifest that in our daily life? Is that sort of a too big of a question?
Well, I think that it's definitely something that we're doing in our daily life all the time, but you're just not aware of it. So let me start with telling you how it was caught my attention. Maybe that would be a good way to do. I was conducting a ceremony where I was on some land, and I have always a lot of people there. I'm going to say anywhere from 60 to 100 people will participate in this thing every year. And I walk this road every day, several times a day. I'm very familiar with the landscape and the different things that are on this road, again, because I've walked it so many times. I was with this man, his name's Terry, and I was walking down the road, and we came to this bridge where there was a stream running under the bridge that's going to join into a river about 200 yards down. And I looked at Terry and I said, "Terry, where did these boulders come from?" And he started laughing at me. He's like, "Well, Jan, do you want the geologic explanation of how they got here?" And I said, "Terry, I have never noticed these boulders before." And so we laughed about it. And in my line of work with energy medicine, when things are very stately and beautiful in nature, you greet them, you say hello to them. And these boulders were about the size of cars. And so they would be seen in indigenous cultures, sort of like grandmothers and grandfathers there of the river, like little gatekeepers of the river or of the stream. And so I made it a point then to say hello to these big boulders every time I went by them, and started laughing about it. "Sorry, I missed you. My observation skills haven't been real great lately," or something, just kind of making a joke out of it. And I did this for several more years. I'm going to say about 5 years, going up and down the road. Well, 2 years ago, I was going down the road with a different person, and we got to that same place, and I looked at her and I said, where are the boulders? And she looked at me and she said, what boulders are you talking about? I said, well, the boulders that I've been saying hello to for the last 5 years and making a big deal out of it. And she said, Jen, there's not any boulders here. And right then I knew that I was being informed of parallel realities or multiple dimensions. How I knew that is just because this is my world. This is my world that I live in, and it might not be common for somebody else to have that conclusion, but the world that I live in with energy medicine and studying parallel realities or quantum physics, it is a portion of quantum physics that is part of how it operates and what it is. Different realities, parallel realities, time dimensions, various things like that.
Well, I hate to sound too much like an American, but what does that, what would that specific experience, how would that benefit you, or what do you get from it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure. That's a great question. For me, who is very invested in helping people heal, and again, I've also witnessed amazing miracles in healing, like instantaneous healings in people, both physical, emotional, and mental, different types of things happening. What it equates to then is there are parallel realities of you that are happening simultaneously. This is an energy medicine awareness as well as a quantum physics awareness, that there's not just one version of you, Diane, and there's not just one version of me, Jan. There's multiple versions of us. And things are slightly different in these multiple versions. So in this case, in one reality, in one time dimension, there are boulders that are at the beginning of this stream. In another reality, there are not boulders there. So that can equate to healing with, oh, there's one version of you that has a tumor. There's another version of you that is tumor-free. There is one version of you that is poor and struggling. There's another version of you that is prosperous and living well.
I'm reading everyone's mind right now, and they're asking you, I want the good version. I want the healthy and the prosperous version. How do I get there?
Well, exactly. And you get there by realizing the basic components of energy medicine and how you then recreate yourself into that version.
This is a great segue into your webinar, Recreate Yourself, 7 Truths for Guaranteed Success.
Yeah.
And I want to just tee this up just a little bit by saying that you have told me that you created this webinar because your teachings aren't accessible to everyone, but this webinar makes your teachings accessible to everyone in the world.
That's right. And also, not everybody has the interest in studying quantum physics or energy medicine, which I have dedicated my life to the energy medicine, dabbling in quantum physics for the last maybe 5 or 6 years, but realizing that energy medicine is based in quantum physics and finding that bridge between the two. So not everybody has that type of interest. So it's how can I make this simplified and easily accessible to anyone and everyone. You don't have to have any kind of science background. You don't have to have any kind of psychology background. You just have to be a person that can basically read and listen. And it's
and is motivated to find the best version of themselves and live it, embody it.
right. And the other thing that I wanted to mention here is we also don't have to have spectacular stories to endorse it. This was something that caught my attention, but probably everybody has experiences in moving between time dimensions and you don't even realize it. Such as if you've ever lost something, let's say a set of keys, and you knew that they were someplace, you saw them there, and you can't find them, and then you come back and they're there. Have you ever done that before?
Yeah.
Yes. I did this with a set of keys that was on my sofa, and I went to grab them and they weren't there. So then I, go around the sofa with my hand and everything. I'm looking for it, still couldn't find them. So I pull all the cushions off. They're on the floor, and then I'm really getting down there in the crevices, wiggling my fingers around, trying to find these keys, not there. So then starts the hunt. I'm around the house, I'm in the garage, I'm everywhere that I could possibly think. Where are my keys? Going in all the pockets of clothes, all that type of stuff. Only to come back into the room in about a half an hour, and the keys are right there in the middle of the sofa.
So what was that about?
Well, exactly. That is moving. That's evidence of moving from one dimension into another, where the keys are there and then they're not there. And again, at the time that this happened many years ago, I went, oh, that's weird. And so we discount it. Or, just the fun one, how many times have you gotten your laundry out of the washing machine or the dryer, and you put 2 socks in there, and then there's only 1 sock that comes out. Have you ever had that experience?
Don't start with me on the sock thing.
Well, where do they go? Where do they go? Sometimes they reappear, and sometimes things are just gone forever. But where do they go? They're not caught in our vent, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to bring this into the realization that these things are happening all the time, every day in people's lives, but we discount them. Again, we don't have an explanation for it, so we just kind of go, oh well.
Do you ever read more into it? And that might not be the right way to mention that, but you'll know what I mean when I finish. As in, I can't find my keys right now. Maybe I'm getting a message that I shouldn't be taking off yet.
Well, yeah, you can do those things if you want, and you can drive yourself crazy with that kind of stuff, and you can also miss opportunities. I mean, it can be accurate on some levels and not on another. And I think the more that you learn how to listen and to receive information energetically, then you can be more accurate in your deciphering of the information.
Okay.
But it does, so there's lots of things to understand about energy and energy medicine and how it relates to the quantum fields and how it relates then to recreating yourself and being able to move into that dimension of that greatest version of yourself, because you're moving through dimensions all the time, but without getting all entangled in that, which is entanglement theory and quantum physics. We want to keep it really simple. We want to be like, okay, what is the version of you that you really want for you, Diane? Like, what are your dreams and what are your goals and what do you pray about that you really want to manifest in your life? Well, we've had all kinds of things on manifestation for years that have been in the public, and they do work, but what is actually the energy behind it working? And how can we do this a little bit more purposefully? Because
it doesn't just
very frustrated with it.
And it doesn't automatically happen by wishful thinking.
Not really. There needs to be some understandings of what you're putting into motion and also what's blocking you, because there are blocks that are there that are automatically in your system because of how you've lived your life.
Can people
And
find those can people find those on their own, or do they need guidance? Because that block thing sounds like that would be, we would be blind to a lot of it without help in determining that.
you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes.
That is an adage that is very accurate. It's even an accurate in science. I mean, because in science, the observer is controlling the experiment by what they expect to happen. And so we have these expectations inside of us, or blind spots to things because of wounds or whatever. And those prevent us. So yes, I think a guide of some sort of facilitation that can ask the right questions and lead you down the right path for your own self-discovery. And that's basically,
we find out when we sign up for the webinar, do recreate yourself, are we able to discover that through the webinar?
Absolutely. That's the whole purpose of it.
Okay.
Because we're exploring again these 7 truths. And this is giving the foundation as we move forward in our own understandings of things. When you have the foundation to be your template, like when you really get energy medicine and understand how it works, you've applied your own life to some of these concepts, then all this other stuff in quantum physics and time jumping or different realities, all that kind of stuff makes so much sense. Like you said, in my American mind, earlier, it just starts making so much more sense that you have opportunities available to you that, because of our culture and our society and the different things that we've valued and based things on, you've just kind of been oblivious to.
Yeah. So let's bring that up in our next interview, because we're out of time right now. But
right.
I swear I can envision the audience and I can envision their next question. So I want to tell the audience we're going to continue this with another interview that will be accessible on Facebook, social outlets, and your website, so people can go back and watch this. And Jan Ingalls-Smith is the creator of Recreate Yourself, 7 Truths to Guaranteed Success. And it isn't just a self-help book or a self-help something or other, but it is actually a program that you can apply and get in the version of the reality of you that you want. Did I get that right?
Yes. Okay. It's giving you really basic concepts to understand, and you plug yourself into it and see how you're being.
So we're going to be back with another interview with Jan Ingalls-Smith. And Recreate Yourself. Check out her website, lightsong.net. You'll find out a lot of things, not only about her, but upcoming events and schools, journeys, classes that will really benefit you. So until next time, have a great day. We'll see you again.